Dear Bishop Chijioke Ago, I just listened to your voice note, sir, and I'm tempted to respond to it. You know, for a while, I've decided not to do any voice notes. I'm trying to respect instructions. But you see, sir, I beg to disagree. Where you said that the elder states spokesperson should come forward and do an apology to the clergy. Yes, that request is in order, very much in order. And then but you went ahead to say that even if the grant handler decides not to disburse, or he can disburse as its convenience, it doesn't matter. But rather, what is important is the shame to the body of Christ. Sir, please, I beg to disagree. Both are important. As important as it is that he is called to order, it is equally important that the grant is also disbursed as promptly as possible. As promptly as possible, because the mental health, the emotions of the subscribers is being overstressed and overstretched. And I don't want to believe that the clergy would also be insensitive to the plight of the subscribers. So, in as much as the apology, you know, you are encouraging apology to be rendered to the clergymen, but the grant handler should also be requested to disburse the grant in his possession as promptly as possible under that same body that is calling for him to apologize, because it is not just the clergymen, that felt insulted. The entire grant community also feels insulted. And the thing is, I am Orthodox, I am Catholic. It is quite unfortunate that this grant is not being handled by a Catholic clergyman, because in the Catholic Church, I use Father Mbaka as an example. When he came up and spoke against His Excellency Peter Obi, we all saw what the Catholic Church did. There were, outbursts from social media. A lot of persons complained. But the church did not even just look at the outbursts. Immediately, you saw what happened to his adoration ministry. As we speak now, he has been moved to the monastery in Benin City or in Edo State for restitution. They want him to go back and, reignite the reason and the purpose for his calling. Because in the Catholic Church, there are laws, there is hierarchy. And as a Catholic priest, you are not supposed to involve yourself in politics. So the moment you start derailing, the authority, and if he had not listened to the admonition of the Archbishop, the Pope would have come in. So if this grant handler had been Catholic, I can assure you, if Apostle Theophilus had been Catholic, he would have been invited to come, and really, nobody is calling anybody a scammer. No, you don't have evidence to cause, but please, what is the cause of the delay? Can we know who your donors are? Look at the story that we are being told about, we've been told all sorts of stories. Like I said, I don't want to, because if I want to do a voice note, I will begin to bring out facts that will open the eyes of the masses. I would really, really bring out a lot of facts. Mr. Tony Elumelu happens to be a grant handler. And he has been successfully disbursing grants for the past 10 years to not just Nigerians, but to Africans at large through his Tony Elumelu Foundation. Go to the website and Google. He recently secured another grant to help small-scale entrepreneurs. He came out, disclosed his donors, that is USADF. He disclosed the amount that was given to him and the purpose, because he wants to be as transparent as possible. Ideally, is the grant community, the subscribers, they have that right through the freedom of information to know who the donors of this grant that they subscribe, especially those who parted with funds, those who paid money. I'm talking of the cluster heads and the NGOs. They have a right to know who the donors, even the NGOs that signed the MOU. The grant handler ought to have disclosed. It's not supposed to be shielded in secrecy, because in a situation like this, the donors will be contacted to try to see how they can mediate to help to make the matters easy. I don't want to believe that a grant, that the money has been released to the grant handler by the donor, and it is still in possession for the past 2 years, and the donors have not asked questions to say what is going on. Are we illiterate? No donor is asking about why a grant, when we all know that usually the stipulated time frame from once a donor releases a fund to the grant handler and the period of disbursement should be 6 months. So how has Tony Elumelu been successfully disbursing his grants? If we are being told that the DSS so and so and so, why didn't the DSS stop Tony Elumelu or accuse him of using his money to sponsor terrorism? So there are so many things that do not add up. So if you are saying the clergy, let me not deviate from why I'm speaking, why I'm trying to respond to you, sir. If you are saying the clergy in the grant community should all come together, they should not just speak up because one of them insulted the others. No, sir. Yes, that is enough reason for, but they should also come together. Let the clergy men come together, have an agreed time, approach Apostle Theophilus Eloche Ebonyi as a fellow man of God, and demand to know who his donors are. Let him tell the subscribers it is our right. He doesn't have a right to hide the identity of his donors, because at least if all these issues back and forth, petitions had been written to the donors that there are challenges in disbursement, they will mediate. There is no government that they cannot plead with. There is no government that they cannot work hand in hand with to see that how can somebody release money and the money you released for the past 2 years has not been disbursed, and no donor will be happy. So I believe that the simple solution to this problem would be if the identity of the donors are known. And that is what, if you are calling for the clergymen to come out to speak, that is what the clergymen should come as a body together to demand from your fellow clergyman who doubles as a grant handler. Because what I've discovered in this grant community, once a grant handler applies for a grant, just application, no, it has not been approved. They will come out to say they have 3 grants. They have, for anybody you see coming out to tell you they have grants, the truth of whether that grant is real or not is the disbursement phase. If it takes longer than 6 months, sorry, that person was just in the application phase. And what they forget is that they will apply for a grant, remembering that it is possible that that grant will be denied or approved. They will put that aside and come and start taking money. Ideally, there is nothing. You see, I don't want to talk too much because, like I said, by the time I begin to dish out certain facts, the truth will come out. There is nothing like sale of cluster. As far as a grant is, I don't recall Mr. Lumel. I'm still using him because he happens to be a grant handler of reputable integrity, known nationwide. I have never seen him demand a kobo or sell anything like clusters when he's disbursing his own grants. You apply, you bring your proposal, those that qualify, the successful candidates are selected and disbursed to within 6 months. And he has always maintained that standard. He has done it successfully for you. So nobody should come and make us believe that this is the way it is. I was told that the so-called YouTube presenter was saying that it usually takes 5 years between when a grant is released to the donor, to the grant handler from the donor, and when it should be disbursed. 5 years, really? He should be arrested for that statement. He should be arrested because that is false information. There are donors council, there are donors association internationally. So there is an umbrella body that brings all donors together. Once one grant handler is blacklisted, you cannot go and apply for grant anywhere again. If the donors are not identified and being brought in the know, we will keep on being told one story or the other. The simple solution to this is let the donors be identified. If they're contacted, I bet you if they come in truly and wade into this matter, you will see changes. Because nobody will release money and be happy that that money is hanging somewhere. And, one story or the other has been told for years, really. So what is the essence of releasing the funds? Even all these monies that is being collected, donors usually release separate amounts for logistics to any grant handler. So they are not supposed to collect a kobo from beneficiary. They are not supposed to collect a dime because they usually release, if truly they have disbursed a grant. Sorry, they have released the grants to the grant handler. They are not supposed to collect a kobo extra. I'm talking of the grant handler, because freely you give, freely you must receive. You will be given separate amounts of money for logistics, for whatever expenses. That is the one you are supposed to spend and use to buy car, buy houses, and live. How can you be taking money from the same set of persons that you want to help? You say you want to help people. Today you are asking them to pay for one thing or the other, and yet you have money to give them. You want to help them, but you are taking away from them. So the clergy, if they should be demanding for apology, which is in order, they should also demand from their fellow clergyman who happens to be a grant handler that please, can we have the identity of the donors? so that we can see if we can reach out to them to see how they can come and mediate to fast track this process. Then when you make that request, you watch his body language. Then you take it up from there. If it were to be the Catholic Church, this disbursement, because even if it cannot be handled at the level of the Archbishop, the Pope will come in and give standing order to that clergyman that you have to do this. Look at what happened to Reverend Father Mbaka. He was ordered, given an order by the Archbishop to apologize to Peter Obi, which he did immediately. We all saw it. Even though it was against his wish, but because of the hierarchy in the Catholic Church, he obeyed. So it is because when it comes to, I'm sorry to say, in Orthodox churches, everybody will just come out and become a GO and call themselves a GO. And and that is why things like this happen. There is no hierarchy, there is no structure. Even if you want to report the can, now that this is what the elder spokesperson is doing, if you invite him on what structure does his ministry have? Somebody whom I don't know how true it is. I heard that is just in his sitting room. This is somebody who has not even been able to grow his ministry beyond his sitting room. So what do you expect, really? It's well.
I love what is going on now. This is getting hotter than I thought. Nigerians coming out to speak their mind. Those who understand every in and out of ground. Theophilus should come and answer. Review your donors. This woman said no grant should span before, should go beyond 6 months. That stipulated time for grant to be received and disbursed is 6 months. Come out and tell us the truth, Theophilus.